All right, guys. Well, I'm back from break, and we have a Star Citizen about caves. Really excited for this one.
Our goal for the last half year has been to figure out how to build additional cave archetypes. Not only trying to establish the visual, but also define a new workflow on how
The first thing that I would think about is what could these guys have been doing aside from this?
we can make
It looks sick,
better
though.
looking, better performing caves. The new workflow we figured out for the caves is much more artist friendly, and to a point even where designers can make entire cave rooms without necessarily needing an artist to do any work.
I mean, he's an artist, so probably not much in terms of gameplay, right?
Designer could go in and build like a white box room and send this to the Houdini process, which will then return an almost finished cave room. For the first release, there will be new.
So just making it very clear, this is another sounds and I believe is another one of those situations where the person who's talking is the person who sets up the ability for a designer to place these. That's all they do. This will have nothing to do with gameplay, would be my expectation. And then the designer's the one who has to put I guess gameplay there, which we know doesn't happen as quickly as the art gets put out, typically.
Sand caves on SaltEMike, which is like the prime candidate, being a very desert planet. But they will also be going on Magda, Ita, Wala, and Hurston itself.
Okay.
One thing we really liked about the old caves was that they always had this feeling of claustrophobia, and we tried to keep that in some regards.
Most of those moons... No, I think it's like a mix of like good, like normal gravity and low gravity. Because the low gravity moons are kind of a pain in the ass to traverse, right?
Another thing that was always a concern, the old ones, was that it was very, very bumpy to walk through them. So one thing we definitely improved on is walking through them and traversing the space is much smoother and feels nicer in general.
Yeah. So is this an update on the current caves that we have? Because we basically have this archetype now, the sandy, or what we have now, rocky.
Also, we added a lot more natural light sources, so you will have much more cinematic experiences going through them.
Okay.
For the first release, there will be no missions, but this hopefully very soon will be remedied shortly. And also for the first release, the caves will be walkable on foot only, like no vehicle entrances, no ship entrances, but the workflow is flexible.
The first release, there'll be no gameplay. Okay, so why are we talking about these?
Once we get to those, like this.
Why release them, bro? Just put them in with the game. Like, just wait and put them in with the gameplay. Holy shit! I don't get this. I just don't get this anymore. Like, what's the point of putting in things that nobody's gonna use?
First release is mostly about showing the community the visual we've developed for this archetype. Additional archetypes that are like we are scheduled to work on in the next 1 year. It's gonna be the rock archetype, which will replace the existing caves.
Okay.
Then we
so
also
they are
have
going to replace them.
Acidic archetype, which will fit into Ariel and less parts of Stanton, where you have like those bubbling acid pools, or sulfur pools. Then there's also the ice archetype, which will be great for Microtech and its moons, for example. And the last one that's actually scheduled is the overgrown one, which will also work well on Microtech in the forests and on Hurston.
Cool.
We as a team are quite proud of the experience we managed to achieve with the new cave archetype that's coming out. It was really fun for us to do and like make this excursion and try to figure out all the problems that come with that.
I mean, it looks cool.
We're looking forward to building all the other archetypes as well. The established workflow now will just go much faster and hopefully result in some really cool looking new places the player can experience.
Alpha 318 is slated to bring with it a number of new aspects to the persistent universe. From the new rivers, the arena racetrack, the Korea revamp, the prison additions, and new sand caves that we've already discussed this quarter, to the cargo refactor, hull scraping, and persistent entity streaming, and more that we'll be covering over our next 5 weeks. But occasionally, we like to look even farther ahead and explore the earliest prospects of work that...
Okay, so chat warned me about that specific comment right there. Let's talk about that a little bit. That doesn't mean what you guys think it means. So this is the doomer mentality of my community that is just like kind of annoying at times. I don't think that that means that at the end of the 5 weeks, 318 will be released to the PTU. I do believe that at the end of the 5 weeks, 318 would hopefully be released to live. That would be my expectation there still. Please feel free to call me an absolute idiot, because I probably am, because I believed the letter for the chairman was true. So I'm probably high on copium, but my guess would be 318 live in 5 weeks, or at least a PTU open to everyone. Right? At the very least, a PTU open to everyone. That would be my guess, actually. I'll roll back a little bit, because now even that is appropriate for Jared to go on vacation for 3 weeks. I would assume setting up what's going on behind him here, because it looks like the new studio. But yeah.
That's only now just beginning. And this week, we've got Star Citizen Live game director Todd Pappy to share with us plans for our new player experience. The first in-game tutorial since Old Gunny tried to help us pilot our way out of the asteroid hangar oh so long ago.
Okay. I'm curious what they mean by new player experience.
Game, there's a huge learning curve. Obviously, our community's been fantastic, you know, with the help and support for the new players coming on. I think with any game of any size, there needs to be some sort of new player experience to help break down those barriers.
Wait, how did he live?
We used to have step-by-step, you know, and more story-based style introduction, you know, for players. And the issue with that is, as soon as any new mechanics came online or anything like that, then we'd have to go in and basically rebuild it and adjust it, and the upkeep on it was really time-consuming.
Still waiting. I'm Lucas Baramsko, but everyone knows me as Gilly.
With our new player experience aspect that we're working towards, it's really taking the player not only from basically the front end and having choices there so that the player can either opt in or opt out, but it's training them in their hab. It's training them to their first store.
All right, clearly none of this is ready to be shown. So they're just talking about the plans. This is very much an SCL kind of thing, and not that polished, ready to go ISC kind of thing.
It's training them over to the spaceport, how to get out of the hangar, get into your ship, you know, where do you need to click in the cockpit.
Self-destruct activated.
Then from there,
I've been there.
Doing some very light missions to basically kind of get you up to speed with ship combat as well as FPS combat. Right now, the teams are working towards FPS HUD that is being built for S42 so that it's got basically contextual hints that are up all the time, and you're in different states. So it's basically player interaction experience that we're working on, and we've spec'd out, you know, for S42 as well as for the persistent universe. So we're waiting on them to do the first pass on the HUD and first pass on the system, and then from there that trickles down to us. We need to reskin it and do it regarding the subsumption hooks and everything like that. We've already got all that spec'd out. The teams are working towards that right now. Front end experience, we just need to make sure that one of our team from USPU works on that and builds that out. Then there's all the signage and everything like that in our landing zones. Our branding team is going through and looking at that experience and doing the test on Area 18 at first, and then we'll be taking that to Lorville, New Babbage, and Horizon. It's a work in progress right now, but we're really working towards getting this out to the players. And this is just like a smaller bite size new player experience, and we'll be working on a much larger experience when we get closer to switching this over to beta.
So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that the EU Sandbox 2 team continues to build out the world beneath Star Citizen's world.
I mean, I don't have a lot to say on that, other than it would have been nice to see what it might look like, and how they plan on doing any of the things that he said. He just said they're going to do things, basically, which was not much to go on there.
Worlds with new cave types, including sand, acid, and soon ice. And that all those players out there currently helping new citizens get their start in the verse have help on the way as the new player experience continues to develop into the next year. Now, don't forget that Ship Showdown is still underway, and it's your chance to determine the best of Star Citizen ships and vehicles. And if you haven't seen some of the commercials and songs that have been created by the community, do yourself a favor and check those out.
There's some
For
pretty
Inside
cool
Star
stuff.
Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. We'll see you all here next week.
Yeah, I mean, felt like a filler episode to me. It does still concern me, even though they're talking about showing them over the next 5 weeks. Before the letter of the chairman, 318 was supposed to be fairly complete in terms of salvage and cargo refactor stuff. The only issue was that it was hooked into PES and needed to be, which needed to be in the game. So it was made to sound like they were kind of hanging out and waiting for PES to be integrated into the game. We haven't been shown anything visually of those two features. I should say those two features of the cargo refactor, because we've definitely seen a ton visually about salvage. So I just don't particularly like what I've seen so far. It's just, I don't know. Again, a very kind of blah episode, and we're going to get those from time to time. Just seems like it's been a lot more often than we're used to lately, because we're in this like weird just waiting for 318 stage. But in the end, someone's got to talk about 318 at some point. And if we don't hear about it soon, this is getting insane.